So I am 38 weeks pregnant, and according to Google and research and TikTok and everything like that, spicy foods are supposed to induce labor. So with it being Sunday and we're not wanting to go out to eat today, we're wanting to chill at the house. Luckily, we have a little bit of Buffalo Wild Wings, that buffalo sauce that's like kind of hot, so we're gonna see how it works today. Honestly, what I really want to do is just go over to BDubs and get like the hottest, spiciest. So I don't know about you, but a $9 lobster roll sounds pretty good to me. We are in Vegas for the week and we were trying all kinds of good foods and restaurants here. And our very first stop were $9 lobster rolls. Technically, we got a lobster roll, a fried.
Tell me why every woman knows how to eat while holding a baby, but the second you give that baby to the husband, to the male, they're like, I'm eating, I can't hold the baby. Me too. Like, I just know how to hold the baby and eat. Like, it's a thing. I promise you, every woman knows that. The second you start to eat yourself, that's when the baby cries. 100%, 10 times over. That's just how the babies just know it. They just know.
Quick disclaimers, fast-paced 1-hour-long video. Everything in this video is alleged, and multiple trigger warnings.
Are you one of those people who see something on the internet and it pisses you off to the point that you wish you could meet up with that person and deal with them yourself? Actually, are you okay? But this is gonna be one of those videos that makes you feel that way. Because when I was looking into this case, when I tell y'all, I was getting triggered by the minute. The creator we're gonna be talking about today is called Hannah Bhiatt, or Hannah Bhiatt, or Hannah Bhiatt, or Hyatt. I don't know how to say her last name. Now, Hannah's main platform is TikTok. She has 2 accounts on TikTok. She has Hannah_Bhiatt and Hannah.Bhiatt. And on Hannah.Bhiatt, she mainly posts food content or family content. And then on Hannah_Bhiatt, it's mainly like nurse content and pregnancy content. I haven't seen anyone post something this extreme and be so open about it in such a long time. Actually, Ruby Frank was the last person on social media, you know, who's been arrested for it, who's been that open about literally their kids. Now, Hannah is also known as Nurse Hannah because, like I said before, she's a nurse. Specifically, she's a long-term care nurse. So she deals with people who have chronic conditions and things that they'll just have to live with for the rest of their lives. Hannah works in a nursing home, so she takes care of elderly people. Now, if you scroll all the way to Hannah's oldest videos, you would see that she posted a lot of nursing content. She talked about her experience. She talks a lot about how much she makes. At first, it started off like she wanted to become a nurse influencer, you know, one of those people who educate you about a career path you might be interested in doing, until she stopped talking about it. Even when Hannah was doing that, she was getting in trouble with the nursing community. Like, for example, she keeps saying that an LPN and an RN is the same thing when it's literally not the same thing.
The only difference between an LPN and an RN are just those little letters. That's kind of it, you know, LPN, RN. That's really the main difference. Less school, same amount of money. Less school, same different like specialties. Travel nursing with less school. Flexibility, less school. What's wrong with being an LPN? We're real nurses. If I were to go back to school and choose between RN and LPN, I would choose LPN over and over and over again. There's really not that many differences out there. So if you're questioning whether you want to become an LPN or an RN, how much school do you want to be in? Because if you want to work, be an LPN. If you want to get out and work, be an LPN. If you want to sit in school, be an RN.
And she was literally just misleading people into thinking that, oh, you can become an LPN and you'll be doing the same thing as an RN and you'll probably even be making more money.
And plus I make a lot more money than some of my RN friends do.
And on top of that, she would share a lot of stories about encounters she had with patients. And sometimes in some of her videos, she would come across as making fun of these patients.
Tell me why my patient is walking down the hallway with one of these things full of toilet water drinking it. Literally walking down the hallway, toilet water. And guess what? There were a lot of floaties in it. A lot of brown floaties. Full on turd. She's drinking a turd. She's just walking down the hallway, full of toilet water. Make sure you're watching your patients closely or they might be drinking toilet water. When I saw her drinking out of it, I literally gasped. Because the other day she was washing her clothes in the toilet. And now she's drinking out of it. Obviously we need to keep eyes on her at all times because she will be playing in the toilet. Like, can you even imagine drinking out of a toilet? Just mug full, just toilet water. So today I picked up another agency shift. I'm on a dementia unit and it is never a dull moment. It's currently 6:45 in the morning and I already have a patient drinking his own urine. This man comes out to the nurse's station and asks for some new lemonade because the lemonade in his room tastes gross, which I thought was kind of weird because we have milk, juice, water, but not very often do we have lemonade. I asked him where he got the lemonade. He said that somebody left it in his room on his table. I go back in this man's room to see what he's talking about. The lemonade he was drinking tasted so bad because it was urine. It was a full urinal that he thought was lemonade. This man's drinking urine. Just some urine for breakfast.
You're supposed to keep their information confidential, and on top of that, imagine going on TikTok and seeing that your nurse is making fun of you over a condition that you literally can't control.
So I'm curious, if you're a nurse, how do you convince your patients to take their medications? Let me tell you how I do it. We do things a little ghetto around here. Yes, patients have their rights and they can technically refuse their medication, but that's not how we work around here. Like, Granny, you're on lots of dementia medications, psych medications, bipolar medications. You need your medications. Yes, you can refuse, but that's just gonna be a whole downward spiral. And I'm not about to have that kind of shift today. Sometimes you crush it up for them. Sometimes you crush it up and put it in an Oreo. You hide it in their breakfast. You know what we do in long-term care? I say, if you take your pills, I will give you a whole carton of cigarettes. That is what I did today. To my COPD patient, chronic COPD patient, with an oxygen saturation of 85%, I said, if you take your medications, I will give you this entire pack of cigarettes. You know, smoke one now, smoke one later, smoke the entire pack of one sitting, I don't care. But I need you to take your medication. So I'm curious. Other nurses, comment on this, whatever you want to do. How do you get your patients to take their medications? Because no. These psych patients with multiple personality disorder, bipolar, whatever, we're not refusing our medications every day. That's not happening.
Nurse Top did not like her from the jump. Hannah even shared a story, making it seem like her patients are addicts to pain meds.
Have I ever told you guys about the time where I had to Narcan 4 patients in one day in long-term care? Narcan, 4 patients, not the ER, long-term care. And if that doesn't sum up long-term care, I don't know what does. Patients in long-term care, they're able to go and come back as they please, basically. So that means they can leave. All they gotta do usually is sign out, and they can come back whenever they want to. And a lot of times there's patients that come back, and then they're not so responsive, and then there's like, it spreads, you know. So they got their hookups outside.
And I'm gonna say one thing. Yes, there are people who are possibly addicted to their meds and have addiction issues, but at the same time, you're gonna find that in every healthcare field. Long-term care, the emergency room, no matter what, you're literally gonna always find people who have substance abuse issues. So for her to like just go on there and make it seem like that's long-term care. It's so sad that most of these people are elderly, so they probably won't ever see these TikToks and know that this nurse is out here making fun of them. One of Hannah's first viral moments on social media is a video of her basically admitting that she's 25 weeks pregnant and she can possibly be pregnant with twins, and she still haven't gone to her doctor.
I'm 25 weeks pregnant or so. Haven't been to the doctor one single time, so I don't really know. So yeah, literally could be having twins, don't even know it. Also, I don't really plan on going to the doctor anytime soon. I just honestly don't feel like it's that necessary when you're pregnant. Now, you guys might think I'm crazy. Oh, you're a nurse and you don't go to the doctor. Oh, you're a nurse and you're anti-doctor. I'm not anti-doctor. I just don't think it's that necessary. Like, I feel fine. Baby's growing. I trust my body to grow a baby. Like, what do you think they did back in like 1920? You think they're going to the doctor like 10, 15 times while they were pregnant? No. Last time when I was pregnant with my son, I didn't go to the doctor until I was about 25 weeks. That time it was because of like insurance problems, but I think I just learned that it's not that necessary. My symptoms are manageable. I don't really get that sick, and I trust my body to know how to grow a baby. A lot of people think I'm crazy because they're like, oh, what if it has like health conditions and you don't even know? What does that have to do with anything? That wouldn't change my decisions or anything. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, this baby will be loved regardless of complications, health problems, anything like that. I literally could be having twins, don't even know it. I'm like 25-ish weeks pregnant. Based off of getting pregnant in January, puts me at like a September-ish due date. So that's what we're going with. So basically, whenever I go into labor, will be when I go into labor.
Judging from my facial expressions, y'all probably already know what I'm about to say. How is this girl a nurse? No, like, first of all, how is she a nurse? What do you mean you don't find it necessary to go to the hospital or go to the doctor to check on your baby? Like what's going on? She made it seem like, oh yeah, if the baby have a health condition or like there's possibly a birth defect going on, I'm still keeping the baby. Like, that's not the only reason to go to the hospital if you're having a baby. Like, the whole point of prenatal care is to see if there's possibly anything wrong with the mother and the baby and what steps you can take right now to like make it any less worse, or as a matter of fact, prevent anything from going on.
Editing Izzy here, coming at you at 3 a.m. What's new? Some of you might be asking, why do you care if another lady goes to the hospital to check on her baby? Like, that's not your business. And you're right, it isn't. But y'all gotta understand, when it comes to TikTok and healthcare professionals getting on the app and saying anything, you guys would be very surprised at how much people would believe it. Like this. People would believe anyone who come on there and say that they're a doctor or nurse or whatever. Y'all see what happened with the C word. I can't say the C word, but it happened in 2020. Oh, our co-host Ali wanted to say something. TikTok is at a point where people are treating it like Google. You know why I'm saying that? Because I treat TikTok like Google, okay? So I just want y'all to keep in mind that she is a nurse. She is a nurse saying this as a nurse, and there will be people who take whatever she says as fact and apply that to themselves. So that's why I find it important. Yeah, I care about people. I care about people, okay?
So a lot of people are like, as a nurse? Are you sure you're a nurse? Then she received a lot of negative attention and backlash for that, and she was hella surprised that a lot of people was like,
yeah, we don't like you, we don't like what you said, and we don't trust you as a nurse, especially.
We're concerned about your patients. And she came back and literally took back everything she said.
So I'm 25 weeks pregnant, and let me tell you the real reason why I haven't been able to go to the doctor. Because I believe that going to the doctor while you're pregnant is 100% necessary. I just haven't been able to go. So as a travel nurse, insurance is really, really tricky. It sucks. And I was trying to be, like, back in November, I was really trying to, like, plan ahead. I'm like, okay, we are going to probably want to start having more kids here pretty soon. I need to figure out good insurance. Last time when I was pregnant with James, we paid $10,000. So I was like, we are not doing that again. I'm not paying $10,000 for this baby. We need to figure out something different. So I found a really good insurance company that was going to be like $2,000, basically, like my out-of-pocket max or however it works, right? Yeah, turns out that was a scam. So yeah, that's the real reason why I haven't gone to the doctor. Does it make me nervous? Yes and no. I'm trying to go here pretty soon. Probably in the next month. Hopefully I'll be able to go to the doctor. But yeah, it's just an insurance thing.
That is not what you said in the first video. Like, you were just capping. Like, you still have the video up. You literally just said with your mouth that it's because you trust your body to carry your baby and you don't find it important. I'm just showing y'all that video to tell y'all, yeah, this girl has been saying a lot of questionable things online from before the huge drama that we're gonna go into, like, in a little bit. Just be patient, y'all. Just be patient. You have to understand the lore in order to understand the present. So after that viral moment, she had another viral moment. But this one was a little bit more positive. This one would have made you think like, maybe she can make something better out of this. So basically, Nurse Hannah went viral over picking up 17 diapers in her house.
Let's pick up all the dirty diapers I have lying around my house right now. I kid you not, my guess is probably 15. I don't own a diaper pail or a diaper genie or whatever they're called. They just kind of get thrown around my house and then we just collect them in a bag at the end of the day and take them out to the dumpster. So I've been solo parenting for the last 24 hours, so we're gonna see how many dirty diapers we have just lying around with 2 kids. I promise you, I'm not even exaggerating, this has only been 24 hours. So I'm counting just 4 diapers right here on the coffee table. Found another one right behind the couch. Oh, found 2 more. So far that's what? 7 diapers, I'm pretty sure. That's just down here, like in the kitchen living room area. Let's go upstairs. I already know this is gonna be so bad. Okay, so right away I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 diapers. That's 8, 9, 10 diapers. And then into the bedroom. This is the corner of what my side of the bed looks like at night. It's embarrassing, I know. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think if I counted right, that's 17 diapers lying around my house. No wonder my house friggin' stinks right now.
Yeah, it should. It should stink. Your house should stink. I found out about the trend before I found out about this video. So then came the 17 diapers trend where moms started sharing their postpartum experience and their struggle and just showing other moms that they're not alone and showing what it's like to have a baby and the aftermath of having that baby. So since this video went viral, a lot of people was like, ew, that's nasty. And like I was saying, I stand my ground. That is nasty.
I'm pretty sure 99.9% of you are already saying, oh my gosh, that is so insensitive. And you know what? You guys are right. You guys are 1,000% right. As a certified childless woman, I am in no place to judge any woman who is possibly going to postpartum depression. And yes, I completely understand you will have days where you can't get up out of bed. You will have days where you can't even clean your house. And that is totally valid. You pushed out a whole human being. But as we will see in this next clip, that is not the case for Hannah. Or at least that's what she said. Instead of taking her viewers' advice on getting a diaper genie and possibly looking for a single spot to change her kids all the time, she decided to respond to people's concerns by saying she doesn't understand how people can even do that. She's way too lazy to do that. And her toddler runs all over the place, so she just drop him on the floor and change him wherever she finds him. Because it's way better to have fecal matter and piss all over your house than to come up with a better system that would benefit you and your children's health.
I want to know how many moms out there actually have a designated place to change their babies every single diaper change. Now being labeled as a 17 diaper mom, I have received a lot of good feedback as well as a lot of negative feedback. A lot of people were commenting like, oh my gosh, you can never make me relate to this. This is so non-relatable. Oh my gosh, this is disgusting. But I had quite a few people ask me, like, so do you just change them wherever then? Like, how do I end up all over the house? And my answer to that would be yes, 100% exactly. Like, do you not have a toddler? Because having a toddler means that wherever they stand, I will be tackling them to the ground to change their diaper. It's not that James, my toddler, hates having his diaper changed. Like, he's cooperative once I get him on the ground, but he just thinks it's a fun game. When I grab the diaper and wipes, he thinks it's a fun game to hide and run and scream from me. But basically, that's how all the diapers end up all over the living room, the kitchen, the couch, the table, the whatever. I kid you not, I will change this kid's diaper in the kitchen if I have to. The diaper ends up upstairs when I'm taking the diaper off before the bath or the shower, before bed. Sometimes in the middle of the night, I'll go in there and check on him, and if his diaper feels really full, I'll change it so that he doesn't wet the bed. I don't know how I could survive always changing my toddler or my baby in one single place every single diaper change. Like, I just don't think I could do that. That's weird.
And things started looking good for Hannah. Like, she got flown out to New York. She ended up on a podcast with Avery Woods. But that podcast later on got taken down because of the recent controversy that she's in now.
Do you want to address something? And I kind of went back and forth on if I want to talk about this or not, because I did already publicly address it in some comments on TikTok. But ultimately, this guest did come onto this podcast, and I did give her a platform, and unfortunately, things did not turn out the way that I had expected or hoped.
And she was mentioned in online articles. And basically, you know the normal thing that happens when someone goes viral. A lot of people want to hear your voice. That was until people started going more into Hannah's content. And we started seeing some very suspicious and questionable things. So the video that sparked off this entire controversy is a video of Hannah and her husband along with her 2-year-old son shopping in the grocery store. And her son is in the grocery cart. Her husband goes to hand something to her son, and for some reason her son literally flinched and braced himself like he was expecting a hit to the face.
Huh?
This video has since been deleted from Hannah's social media, so all we have is reposts. When I was looking for clips for this video, when I tell y'all I was getting triggered, I was getting like... But it's not only the fact that he flinched, it's the fact that he brought his hand up to literally cover his face, and you can see in this poor baby's eyes that he is terrified of what he thought his father was gonna do to him. Kids don't naturally act like that when you handing them something, especially something that looks like, what, a box of ice cream? A child will be hella excited to even see what you're about to give to them in the grocery store. This is a 2-year-old who don't really understand bad and good yet, or even understand danger in non-dangerous situations. So for your child to act that way towards his dad, handing him something, and the fear that's in his eyes, the fear on his face, like regular people, we gonna ask questions. That was very questionable. That made a lot of people think, including me, that there's something else going on.
Naturally, after that video went viral, people started digging more into Hannah's account. And they didn't only look at the account where 17 diapers went viral. They also looked at her account where she mainly posts food content. One thing I noticed is that her and her husband are always on some sort of a budget. A common theme that people notice in their videos is that they would order food for themselves, and it wouldn't just be like little food, it would be like full course meals, and then they would give their son whatever scraps they have from their meal. There are some videos where he have no food at all. He's literally just watching them eat.
So I don't know about you, but a $9 lobster roll sounds pretty good to me. We are in Vegas for the week, and we were trying all kinds of good foods and restaurants here. And our very first stop were $9 lobster rolls. Technically, we got a lobster roll, a fried shrimp roll, and a fried scallop roll, and fries, and a drink, all for $30. Literally, it was only $30, which honestly sounds like kind of a lot to be back home spending money on. Out here in Vegas, honestly, spending that kind of money on any sort of seafood, like that's pretty good. Honestly, my husband and I are pretty cheap when it comes to like eating out and groceries and stuff at home. We're on vacation, and especially in Vegas, like we don't go crazy, but we're not super cheap either. If you're from Vegas, or if you go to Vegas a lot, drop me your favorite restaurants you want me to try. Preferably under like $50 for the 3 of us. These lobster rolls were so freaking yummy. I had a hot honey shrimp one that I think was my favorite. Let me tell you, this place was packed. It was a pretty small little restaurant. It was super quick and fast, literally had a drive-through, and it was one of those restaurants where you literally had to eye all around the restaurant to like wait until someone was like ready to leave the table so you can like jump in there. People were literally fighting over tables. I definitely told James that they were chicken nuggets. Honestly, I'd give this restaurant a solid 7 out of 10. Bonus points for how cheap it was for sure.
So greedy, babe. How you so greedy you don't want to feed your child? Like from the first clip where she's like literally reaching her arm around her kid's head to push this thing into her mouth because she is that greedy. Hold on. And I mean this to no offense to anybody who loves food. I love food, okay? I am a foodie myself. But what in the world has gotten into a person to the point where they are reaching over their kid's head and literally pushing this thing into their mouth to the point she almost take a bite out of her son's head? The other part that a lot of people were talking about was the fact that the child is literally trying to reach for a fry and the dad flicks his hand away.
I know this might be a little bit of a stretch for some people. Some of y'all watching this and like, who cares if the 2-year-old gets fed at the table, right? Like, who cares if you bring your child out to a restaurant just to not give him his own food? But what I find more crazy is that not only did she record this, edit it, and post it and saw nothing wrong with it, but do y'all realize kids' meals are the cheapest things on the menu? So if you're making a video claiming that, oh, you're trying to eat out on a budget or whatever the case might be, but you're not even willing to get your child a kid's meal? A kid's meal? No, like, let's be for real. 3 kids meal would probably been cheaper than their entire meal put together, right? So it's like, are you really on a budget or do you just not want to eat with your kid? Like, for me personally, I have never seen this dynamic before, which is why it's probably very surprising for me. People go out to eat, including myself. If there is a kid involved, whether or not that child is a picky eater, they are getting food. Literally, in most cultures, you don't just go out to eat just to eat. You go out to eat to socialize and also have everyone feel included. It just feels like they're dehumanizing their own child, which is very weird to say considering what's going on. Other side of the world, people necessarily don't even have food. Like, why would you actively make your child feel like they're not included? Why would you go out to a restaurant, bring your child, and then proceed not to even order them a little meal so they can have on their own? It's a little bit of a reach. It's a little bit of a reach. I can see why people would be like, girl, you're doing too much, but it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. Something else is going on here.
I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people? They just so nasty. Like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be very harsh. And
I ain't got no regrets about it.
After taking your child,
oh my gosh.
I can't stand my husband's face.
First of all, close your mouth. Second of all, the food isn't going anywhere.
Calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
today for over 2 hours. We deserved a sweet treat. And that sweet treat was this most delicious raspberry sweet bun. This thing was so freaking good. And the best part is that James, my toddler, was watching a show on my phone in the back seat and he didn't even notice and he didn't even ask for it. But I did feel bad, so I did give him a tiny little piece. Because honestly, this will probably be his lunch because it's already past nap time. So when we go home, we're going straight to bed. Mama doesn't mess around with nap time. We are not missing nap time around here. It was such a beautiful day and we had to go outside to the park. Oh, correction. Yesterday was a beautiful day in Utah. Today it was freezing. We went to the park and did all of this yesterday, not today. Right now, currently, I am at work. I am working night shift tonight, and yesterday we were at the park on a beautiful day. Okay, I exposed myself on my other account. Most videos that I post, a lot of them are drafts. So
they are the classic example of you had kids just to say you had kids, but you don't actually want kids. As a matter of fact, you don't even like your kid. Because what do you mean you're happy your kid was distracted in the back to not ask for anything? Do you not want to feed your kid? And to make things worse, she turns around and hands him a tiny piece. That's gonna be his lunch because it's nap time. So when he goes home, he's going to sleep because nap time is more important than making sure your kid has a proper lunch, right? And that also insinuates that her kid haven't eaten anything all day, probably since breakfast. And there's also like this weird thing that they keep doing. They keep purchasing one plate shared amongst themselves and not get their baby anything. I saw a theory on TikTok of someone saying like they're obsessed with food and they're using food as a method of control with their child.
My comment section is full of comments like this and I couldn't agree more. There's a weird obsession with food in Nurse Hannah's house. Like, what the fuck is going on there? I had to ask that question. It needed studied, so I spent a lot of time last night looking into this, and we're going to discuss it. And for anybody that's new around here, hi, my name is Storm. I am an adult survivor of severe childhood abuse. I don't like to make that my identity, but it is applicable in this situation, okay? And I've also spent my adult years advocating for other victims, so I think I might have a say in this. A lot of us may not understand why Nurse Hannah and her husband are denying her baby food. That's so weird. It's weird, right? And if you're like me, your kids eat first. It's only common sense. But it's obviously not to them, or maybe it is.
I can't do that. Now, the next way that we save a lot of money while we eat out is we don't order drink. We don't drink alcohol. We're not ordering sodas. We literally, when they come to get our drink order, we are only 100% of the time. If we have leftovers, we are bringing it home. I see so many people stand up from their table and leave half of their food there, and then it just gets thrown away. If I'm paying for that food, it's coming home with me if I didn't eat it. So anyways, that's how you eat cheap on vacation. Always making sure your hotel has a breakfast. Always doing research on restaurants before you actually get there on prices. Not blowing a ton of money on drinks and appetizers and
What they're doing is using food as a form of control and enforcing a power dynamic. So last night while I couldn't sleep, I, did a bunch of research and I took some notes and to properly articulate what the fuck is happening in this dynamic. Hannah and her husband have a food codependency. I don't know how to explain it other than they get a temporary high off of fast food or takeout or food in general, and it's a high that they're sharing mutually. And they don't feel like their son is deserving of sharing in on this high. I don't know if that makes sense, but you can see it in their faces. Like, they don't believe that their child is worthy enough to experience the high that they get off of this food. There's so much to it. I'm just going to read my notes, okay? All right, resource control, basic needs as tools. Controlling essentials like food transforms them into tools of manipulation. This control can reinforce who holds power within the household, often leading children to view basic necessities as rewards rather than right. Conditional care. The basic provisions of necessities can be made conditional depending on the child's behavior or expressed loyalty, creating an environment where love and care are transactional. Psychological manipulation, guilt and obligation. If food is provided inconsistently, a child might feel guilty for receiving it or obligated to behave a certain way in gratitude, impacting their self-worth and independence. Fear and uncertainty. The unpredictability of having basic needs met can instill fear and cultivate an unstable environment where the child is always on edge, striving to avoid disapproval or punishment. Dependency and enmeshment. Creating dependency. By controlling access to food, the child may become more dependent on the adult, unable to develop self-reliance or autonomy, always returning to them for the basic requirements. Emotional enmeshment. Such control can lead to enmeshment, where the child's identity and feelings are heavily influenced by the adult, potentially stifling the child's growth and individuality. This one's very important. Authority and hierarchy, maintaining hierarchical structures. This mode of control reinforces a rigid hierarchy where the adult remains at the top, constantly reminding the child of their lower position and authority that comes with it. Disempowerment. The child may feel disempowered, unable to challenge authority due to the lack of basic resources, shaking their confidence and ability to assert their own needs and boundaries. Emotional impact. Internalized inadequacy. The child may internalize feelings of inadequacy or worthlessness, believing they are undeserving of basic care, which affects their self-esteem and mental health long term. Conflicted relationships. Such dynamics may result in conflicted feelings towards the parent, an intertwining of love and fear, creating emotional confusion.
The clip that's being shown in this video has actually gone viral on TikTok, and it's also one of the videos that made people think that there's definitely some more stuff going on than what's being seen. So I'm going to describe it because the child's face will be blurred throughout this video. But basically in this clip, Hannah and her husband are seen eating a full meal while her child just sits there without any food in front of him. As a matter of fact, that salad that's right in front of him, we thought it was his food, but turns out it was not his food. He just was not eating anything. Even though in the first few seconds of the clip, it can be seen that they're trying to give him a fry. But after that little clip, throughout the entire video, he's just sitting there watching them eat. He's like eyeing every movement. It looks like he wants some. And at some point, it looked like he's stressed because he starts pulling at his hair and you can see from his facial expressions that he looked like he's about to cry. And I guess Hannah is doing some form of a silent damage control thing because it looked like she went back and edited the caption of that video, and this is what she said. James was sick in this video. This was the last day right before we flew home. You can tell he wasn't having it, or the fly that kept landing in his hair. And you know, she could be telling the truth. Sometimes you get sick and you have no appetite, especially for kids. It can be very stressful when they're sick and they're just not eating anything. But my immediate thought would have been, okay, my child is sick. They're not gonna eat any solid food, but I know they need food for energy. And like any rational adult, even when treating adults, your first immediate thought is, you need some soup. It still raises the question, why is your child sitting there with no food? I genuinely don't believe what she's saying, because if you look at the original clip where you can see his face, he looks visibly stressed. Him pulling on his hair because of a fly is weird, and then he's also looking like he's about to cry. As a matter of fact, in that clip, I think he did end up crying for some reason. Are you not even trying to comfort your sick child who's not eating anything? You didn't get him any soup. Not even a cup of water is sitting in front of his table. Y'all, not even a cup of water. I want to take a moment to address address this whole using food as a method of control theory. And as discussed in the previous TikTok, some people believe that Nurse Hannah is using food to control her child. And before we get into it, I want to remind you guys that these are all opinions. None of these are facts. We do not know these people when the cameras are off. We don't know these people personally. And I'm not gonna sit here and say like, yes, this is definitely what's going on, because I can be 100% wrong and so can the internet. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Now, with that said, I know there's some people out there that's saying like, that is crazy. Why would somebody use food to control their child? Or some people would be like, oh, my parents did this to me and I turned out to be fine. I don't hate my parents. I don't have trauma. I don't think they were abusing me. While all of that is good for you and I'm happy you don't have trauma, I want you guys to know that this is very much a real thing. There are people out there that are using food to control their children. And I'm saying all of this confidently because I have seen this played out in my personal life with family members. For example, it was little things such as the parent buying certain groceries that would only belong to them, while the children would have little to nothing. And said parent would place labels on it and say, oh, this is my cereal, this is my milk. If you want to use it, you have to ask me for permission. And then whenever the child would quote unquote misbehave, those things would be taken away from them. Or if they would use, let's say, their cereal or milk without their permission, then there would be punishment. So yeah, while it might seem bizarre to you that someone would use something as simple as food as a method of control for their kid, I want y'all to know that this is very much a real thing that happens to a lot of people. Some people, they don't even realize it's happening to them. And this could happen with any basic needs.
And here again, Buffalo Wild Wings versus Wingstop. Let's play a guessing game. Do you guys think they got their son anything? No!
Tonight we are comparing Buffalo Wild Wings and Wingstop. Buffalo Wild Wings and Wingstop both came out with their $16.99 deal, which is 20 boneless wings, fries, and ranch. One night we ordered this on Wingstop, and the other night we did Buffalo Wild Wings. Right off the bat, I already had my my thoughts about it going into it. For me, I love Wingstop. Wingstop's my favorite. I used to be a BDubs girl, but I just love Wingstop fries way too much. I love the sugar that they put on it. I'm always begging my husband every time we go to get fries, and he always says no. Man, it's so cheap. He's like, no, we're not getting fries. And the next night we did BDubs. I mean, BDubs is always great and all, but this is the thing, okay? Hear me out. It's less chicken. The wings, the boneless wings were way smaller. When Wingstop, you were getting way more meat, and you also got more fries. Fries that we got from BDubs were it was a really small portion, honestly. And I love the flavors more at Wingstop. We did a buffalo, we did the honey barbecue, and I think
I just got my little fish fillet from my Adonis, baby. I'm so hungry. I eat all.
I said I am not sharing.
And it's painfully obvious that when they ordered their food, most of the times they don't order their food with their kid in mind. As you guys will notice in more of her videos, whenever she's holding her newborn baby, his head is literally fighting for its life. When it comes to newborn babies, their heads are literally too heavy for their necks. For babies, you have to support their heads for them. In most of Nurse Hannah's videos, she is not supporting her baby's head. It's even worse because you're a nurse. This is something they teach you in healthcare. So why aren't you doing it for your own baby? Now, this video shattered my heart. Like, I had to take a break from looking at her videos. This video was deleted by Nurse Hannah because, of course, you have to delete your self-incrimination. In this video, Hannah tries to hand her child over to her husband.
You know why every woman knows how to eat while holding a baby, but the second you give that baby to the husband, to the male, they're like, I'm eating, I can't hold the baby. Me too. Like, I just know how to hold the baby and eat. Like, it's a thing. I promise you, every woman knows that. The second you start to eat yourself.
In the video, it's quite obvious he was like, hell nah, he don't want to hold his kid.
Yourself, that's when the baby cries. 100%.
Hannah, in annoyance, it looked like she just plopped down her child on the couch.
That's when the baby cries. 100%, 10 times over. That's just how the babies just know it. They just know it. But anyway.
To put it short, her husband is a slob. Her husband is lazy. He quite frankly don't care about being a father. Go watch all of her videos. She says it in multiple different ways. That her husband doesn't like to clean.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning and my house is an absolute disaster because I'm 2 weeks postpartum and I'm not cleaning my house, so who will?
He doesn't like to deal with the kids.
It's day 3 of being in a hotel for a week, and I kid you not, I changed 5 poopy diapers before my husband even woke up this morning. I know you guys are all gonna roast me in the comments for my husband still sleeping and me taking care of the kids, but honestly, this is what we do at home, and it just works. My husband is the last thing from a morning person, and let's be real here, he definitely was not sleeping. He was just trying to sleep, like kind of resting at that point, because it was not quiet in the hotel room. And my whole goal really was just to make sure the boys were not screaming. That way my husband could kind of try and sleep a little bit. I'm just a morning person, and he is not a morning person. It's not that he's a lazy husband and does not care. He just does not get up in the mornings.
That's just how it works. I mean, let's be real. I did not want to get up at 6 a.m., but such is life when you have kids in a hotel room.
As a matter of fact, he would rather go on hunting trip after she only just gave birth to his son.
Little baby is 2 weeks old today, and I might be doing the scariest thing ever. My husband's out of town. We're bringing both kids. I've literally never been on my own with both kids ever in the last 2 weeks, so I'm a little bit scared. My husband is on his very first hunting trip of the season, leaving me home alone with 2 kids for the very first time. I'm a little overstimulated, to say the least.
One thing worth mentioning is that Nurse Hannah and her husband are Mormons. If you don't know what this is, which I highly doubt that you don't, but it's okay if you don't. Mormonism is a term defining the religious beliefs and practices of members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as Mormons. Mormonism described the doctrines of the church that was stored to the earth through the prophet Joseph Smith. Now, this is actually a very huge religion in Utah, which is where Hannah and her husband live, so it's really no surprise that they're Mormons. As a matter of fact, Ruby Frank was Mormon herself, and you guys see what happened with her, right? Okay, we're seeing a trend. But Hannah and her husband are actually very religious. Hannah actually posts a decent amount about her religion, specifically when she speaks about tithings.
You guys always think it's crazy that I believe in paying tithing, meaning paying 10% of all your income back to the Mormon church. You guys always think it's crazy, right? Let me tell you why I think it's not crazy. I think 100% you will always be blessed for paying your tithing no matter what. Today we're in Seattle, Washington. We were exploring the downtown Seattle. We were debating if we wanted to go see the Space Needle. There was this pass that you could do to save money. You can do the Space Needle, you can do the aquarium, the little harbor boat ride thing, and there's a couple other things on that list. And we just couldn't decide if we wanted to do that. The information on the website was pretty confusing. We go up to the aquarium lady, we say, hey, we need 2 adults, there's 1 kid, and she just says, oh, 2 adults, you guys can get in free, just because. She randomly had this piece of paper that said oh, just because there's 2 of you, I have 2 free tickets. Literally saved us $80. We got into the aquarium for free. So, 100% I believe that paying your tithing will be returned in blessings.
Did she just get a deal at an aquarium which probably every other couple and child received and says that it's because she paid in tithing? Girl, do you know what a discount is?
Now, my theory is because they are Mormon, they follow a fairly traditional household.
Newsflash, it's not a theory. They actually believe in traditional roles, and for some reason, when I was recording this video, I did not see that video, but here it is.
If I could change one thing about my husband and this whole boy and girl, pink and blue chore thing, I would make him do the laundry. I 100% despise laundry more than anything. I don't think I used to be this way. It's definitely the more that, the older I get, the more kids that I have, I just grow more and more every day to hate. We believe in pink and blue chores, and that's something we've just kind of always done. If I just stopped doing the laundry completely, he wouldn't do his own laundry. He would just probably go out and buy new underwear on it.
If I had to see that cringy video, you guys had to see it too. It's just so hilarious how they describe traditional roles, pink and blue chores. I've never heard it been saying that way. But another thing I found hilarious is that even though they follow this traditional household, they are far from traditional. Hannah is a nurse, making more money than her husband.
After a big budget fail yesterday, let's re-budget my nursing paycheck thanks to my pregnancy break. My paycheck for the last 2 weeks came out to $2,550, and my husband's paycheck was $1,780, coming to a total of $4,330.
To be fair, both of their income tend to fluctuate, so sometimes he make more than her and sometimes she make more than him. Actually, most times she makes more than him because she would be budgeting her weekly paycheck that she'd be making close to the amount he's making in 2 weeks. In one of her budgeting videos, I actually found out that her husband works in real estate property management, and she said he also does a lot of other works. But most of the time overall, Hannah's paycheck is more than her husband's paycheck. And I just want to clarify that because we're on the topic of traditional and non-traditional roles. Okay, I'm not pocket watching. It's okay if a wife makes more than her husband. It's okay if a husband makes more than his wife. It doesn't matter, but I think it matters because typically the person with more financial power is the one who tends to make more of the household decision. And this way of thinking is normally used in the traditional household. Whereas in most non-traditional households, it doesn't matter who makes the most amount of money. Whereas in most non-traditional households, the husband and the wife tend to make equal decisions, especially when it comes to finances, since both people are bringing in income and you're living together as one household. Safe to say, she's the breadwinner in the household. And on top of that, she's making money from social media. And then they're making money from renting the house, which I'm pretty sure is both of their business, I assume. They're following traditional roles while not being traditional.
He controls the finances. Yes, he apparently budgets both of their paychecks.
If you're married, does your husband control your bank account? Because he controls mine. He controls how much money I spend, and he controls everything with finances. Like every week, I'll give you the paycheck, you tell me what to do with it. That's a happy marriage to me. Which honestly, I don't want the responsibility of having to manage finances, so if he wants to do it, I let him do it. He does it all. He manages the mortgage, he manages our groceries, he manages the bill, he does the phone bills, he does everything. He looks at that credit card bill like a hawk. When he sees that I spend $5 at Taco Bell, I mean, sorry.
I'd be damned if I went to university, get my degree in nursing, go to work for 12 hours and work that myself to come home and give my entire paycheck to a Disney. But that's a dynamic in their relationship, supposedly. But it's confusing because she also budgets her paychecks in her videos. So I don't know what to believe in this girl.
On today's episode of my husband giving me $10 for dinner tonight, we're at McDonald's because I have renters at the house looking right now to see if they want to rent it, and I spent the last 3 hours looking at cleaning the house, and there was no chance in heck I was going to cook food in that kitchen that is spotless. So we're here at McDonald's and we're gonna sit here and play and eat chicken and have a good time. So let's go. Can I have one? You have one. Dippies. This one's mom's water. So I cleaned the house for 3 hours, so I could have this.
Okay, so
Her husband gives her $10 for dinner. Mind you, she a nurse who'll be working 12 hours a week, jumping between night shifts and day shifts. And she giving all her money to her disgusting husband who won't even make dinner. And then again in this clip, she gets her son McDonald's chicken nuggets. Takes one of his chicken nuggets instead of buying some chicken nuggets for herself. Then turns around and in the video you can hear him asking, "Hey mom, water, can I have some?" And she's like, "No, this is mom's water. Is everything okay? Like, are you not a mother? Like, do you have any maternal instinct?" She can literally get him a water cup for free. There's something more going on to this story. Yes, the child's face is blurred, but there is some weird scar on the child's nose, and there are other videos where her son just have random marks and bruises on his face, and it's kind of weird because he's literally the only toddler in the house. Everything in this video is alleged, but people are putting a connection between the bruises on his face, the flinching video, 2 plus 2 look like it making 4.
It's very much a possibility that her son is just being a toddler, he's falling all over the place, and ended up with marks on his face. Like, kids from 2 to basically 10 years old, they're always gonna be falling, they're always gonna be causing chaos, they're always gonna be making some form of trouble. Like, I'm not even gonna act like that's not a possibility. We don't have to jump straight into the accusations of But had that video of her son literally flinching and bracing himself for a hit to the face not resurfaced, then the story would have been completely different. This isn't like an average family TikToker or whatever the case might be. You guys already know my stance on that. But this isn't the case of someone like Nika Diwa who posted an interesting video of her daughter online. Or this isn't a case of the resilient Jenkins family who received a lot of negative attention for having their kids sleeping in the living room. It's quite obvious that all of these kids are probably well fed, and then all of these kids aren't possibly, well, hopefully not being mistreated. At least they're not showing it on the internet. Again, everything is alleged. Nothing is up to the TikTok audience or audience on social media to confirm. This is all up to authorities.
I am 2 weeks postpartum, and tonight we're making dinner for my lazy freaking husband. Tonight he said he wanted a chicken quesadilla, so the man will get a chicken quesadilla. I said, okay, I'll go make you a quesadilla, but will you at least hold the baby for me while I do that? He said no, because he was watching an important football game. But anyways, let's make dinner tonight, shall we? There was a phase a few weeks ago where we were having quesadillas like every freaking day, and I got so sick of quesadillas, but I guess we're back on that grind now. Honestly, it's just super easy. Throw some chicken in the air fryer, put on a quesadilla, James eats it, I don't have to fight with James to eat it, and it's a win-win. Also, cutting this peach was a little trickier with one hand, and if I sliced my finger, honestly, I would just blame my husband for it because he's the one that said he couldn't hold the baby. I saw a comment on here a few weeks ago, someone saying that I never actually cook my family real meals, and my response to that is no, I really don't cook real meals. Like, I'm definitely not the person cooking a whole casserole for dinner with 2 sides and a vegetable and a fruit, and I'm not, that's just not me. Basically, when it comes dinner time, I'm like, what are we making for dinner? My husband and I talk it over. I give him like 5 different suggestions of what he wants me to make, and then we agree on one of them. And 5 options is kind of being generous. Usually we have like 2 or 3 options in the house at one time. And the man usually picks what he wants for dinner. I'm not one that's just gonna cook dinner and say, honey, here's dinner. Like, I'm usually the one asking him what he wants for dinner, or he's telling me what he wants for dinner. Which, honestly, I think it's easier that way because then I know he's happy. He likes what I'm making for dinner. It makes me so sad when I cook dinner and then he's like disappointed or it's not really what he wanted. Like, I don't want to sweat making dinner if no one in my family is even gonna like it. I mean, maybe that's why quesadillas are always my go-to, because I know that James eats it so quick. But anyways, I thought dinner tonight was delicious, but my husband's words were, could be a little crispier.
I strongly dislike him, and I strongly dislike how she just making it seem like, oh, my husband says he doesn't want to hold the baby, so he's not gonna hold the baby. He asked for a chicken quesadilla, and his wish is like, oh, shut your mouth. It's not relatable. It is not relatable. You need a new husband ASAP. Because why is your husband comfortable with you holding your newborn while you're handling food and handling a knife, and then there goes her 2-year-old in the background opening up things, and she's over here having to multitask while her of a husband lays down on the couch to watch football. It's obvious that as much as they try to make it seem like they're playing these traditional roles like their faith requires, it's quite obvious she doesn't want to do that. It's showing all over her content, and she can't hide it. As much as she tried to make it seem like it's not a big deal, it's a flicking big deal. Because why would you make this video?
So my husband claims that he's incapable of ever washing the dishes, so I'm teaching my 2-year-old that way he never tells his future wife that he's incapable of washing the dishes. Literally, he washed this pan actually spotless. This was full of like dirty and crusty eggs. He literally washed it spotless. Good job, baby. I taught him how to load the dishwasher. We're teaching him how to scrub pans. Okay, let's show him. Is it all done? Look. Wow, that's actually kind of crazy. This one was even crustier.
She's tired as hell. You know, a mother is at a different level of being tired when they choose to teach their child a skill that they desperately wish their husband had. And it looks like talking to him is not an option. And I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. This is the action of a man who hates his wife. This is the actions of a man who does not respect his wife. There's literally videos of her saying like, yeah, I only had like 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and then I had to go to work, and then I got back at home, had to cook dinner, and X, Y, and Z, just because her disgusting lazy husband doesn't want to do the work.
I have been up all day long and I'm going to work night shift tonight, but first I gotta make dinner for my lazy freaking husband. He claims that he is incapable of cooking dinner for the kids tonight and for himself, so I have to make it before I leave. How come as moms we don't get hours of PTO or take time off or anything like that? 'Cause I went from 2 boys having double pink eye, then both boys getting a cold, and then I had to take care of my husband who had a cold. Now if you can't tell by my voice, I have the worst cold that I've ever had like in my entire life. And who's taking care of me? Nobody. Who's taking care of the kids? Oh, that would be me. My husband's like, oh, can you take the kids? Like I gotta work. I gotta go upstairs and do some work real quick. I gotta be on my phone. I gotta watch TV. I gotta, like whatever. Excuses. Tonight, my lazy husband begged me to make him fresh bread after cleaning the entire kitchen myself, putting the kid to bed by myself, and then wearing the screaming baby on my chest. This man had the audacity to beg for homemade bread. So what did I do? I got my butt in the kitchen and made him some bread. An unhappy husband is an unhappy wife, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding, but he did ask me to make some bread tonight. And yes, I did just barely clean the kitchen, but this process doesn't make that big of a mess, so it's
Can I be honest, y'all? She's living my nightmare. Like, she is real life living one of my future nightmares, because what the hell made this love never find me, made this never happen to me? Rebuke it, rebuke it, rebuke it.
So people are speculating that she is not being the greatest mother or the best mother that people know that she can be, because her husband is quite literally emotionally and financially dragging her down.
Now, when it comes to this take, I can't 100% get on board with it for many reasons. Mainly because the topic of abuse and people's reactions to it are very complex. It's not just a single answer that anyone can provide. Like, people don't just parent their kids one way already as it is removing abuse from the equation. And that made me realize that DV don't look the same for everyone. The effects aren't the same for everyone. So just saying that, oh, she's mistreating her kids because she's in a, toxic DV relationship with her husband, I can't just say like, yes, that's making her a bad parent, because that is different, again, for every single person. Like, for example, a parent might become more protective over their kid because they're terrified of what their partner might do, while another parent might be in such a terrible mental state that they mistreat their kid because they don't know who to act on, while another parent might resent their kids and regret having kids with a person because the person mistreats them. And really, this is only just a few instances that I can think of, and there possibly might even be more situations and more reactions that I can't fathom. But I'm not a professional. I am in no way saying like, yeah, this is a fact. And I don't know, it just feels wrong to blame everything on an unconfirmed domestic violence situation and using it to justify someone doing questionable things to their kids online. That's my main issue. I just feel like it places everyone who's been in a DV relationship in a box, and also people who are parents that have been in DV situations. In addition to that, we do not know what their relationship is like outside of social media. We're only seeing this relationship through the lens of Hannah. Like, her husband isn't active on TikTok, he doesn't have a TikTok account, I don't think we've ever really heard him say anything in her TikTok videos. We haven't even seen him actually parent in any of the videos. So it's like, this is all through what Hannah is saying, and I feel like it's just wrong for us to take one person's entire side of the story while the other person has zero digital footprint. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you guys think it's safe to make these assumptions based on what we're only seeing on Hannah's accounts, or do you guys think we should wait until some more information come out to even make this sort of an assumption? But based on what we're seeing from Hannah's accounts, it has kind of been confirmed that they do follow these traditional roles. Like, if we're just putting the puzzle together, they probably do follow traditional roles. So it's safe to say that Hannah is possibly doing all the housework, taking care of the kids, while receiving little to no help from her husband like she usually complains on TikTok.
But I feel like it's also a possibility that her mental health is not where it's supposed to be because she has little to no support in the house. It is a possibility. If someone is not doing okay mentally, it's going to reflect in their actions. And especially as a mother where you feel like you have no help, you're doing everything on your own, you're technically a single parent in a marriage, it's going to show. It is going to show. In multiple videos, she keeps talking about how her husband is very cheap and he always want to be on a strict budget and he don't want to spend too much on food and this and that, as if they pop out 2 kids. They are loaded, okay? They're not people in poverty. They have a lot of money.
If you want to make $3,000 to $5,000 a week, why are you not a travel nurse?
17 patients for $107 an hour. Yes, please. Yes, please. Today is a freaking fracking good day because
in one of their videos, they said they purchased a new car and they want to make payments quickly on their car.
Day 33 of making dinner at home until we can afford to pay off our new car. We just bought a new mom car a few months ago and we were trying to pay off that car as soon as possible, which means eating at home and saving money wherever we possibly can.
So they're going to be cutting back on a lot of things, including a $35 coat for her child in freezing weather.
This is how cold the car is. This is literally rock freaking solid. Rock solid. That's crazy. I mean, at least that's... I'm scared. So if you have any potty training tips, send them my way. Okay, I'm sorry, but I can't spend $35 on a toddler jacket. I know he needs one, obviously. I'm not just gonna say, like, don't take his blanket.
Y'all, as y'all can see in the video, it was so cold outside that a bottle of water that was sitting in her car got frozen. And she went to Walmart to see if she can get her son a coat. She saw the price, $35, and said, oh, I'm not buying you no $35 coat. Even though it's freezing outside, I'm not buying you a $35 coat. But we do make thousands a month though. But not only do we make thousands a month, but we make sure every single paycheck, even though we're so broke and we're on such a tight budget, we're gonna make sure we give the church their 10% every single month.
First thing we always do is pay tithing, which was $430. And yes, I saw all your comments that I should buy a new car seat instead of paying tithing. But hey, maybe it's thanks to tithing that I was able to clean that car seat squeaky clean. That thing looks brand freaking new.
Bitch, are you dumb?
Pardon me?
Are you dumb?
I think she's dumb. I think she's dumb.
Are you...
Like, medically speaking.
Seriously, the things that crawled out of this? Yeah, you see that? Yeah. And let me just tell you, that wasn't the only spider that I found. Living spiders, cockroaches, caterpillars, little centipede things, all kinds of freaking bugs were in there. Where are we storing our infant car seats when we're not using them? Or is everybody else just buying new infant car seats for their new baby? Because I'm sorry, this thing was like $200 freaking. I'm not buying a new one just for a new baby.
Do you think she's dumb?
But we draw the line at a $35 coat for our child in freezing weather. And it's only gonna get colder because the church need that money more than their kids do.
10% to the church every single paycheck. I don't care if you're making $10 or if you're making $1 million a paycheck. 10% goes to the church. Before we pay any bill, before we do anything, spend any money on a paycheck, 10% goes to the church. I have been doing this since I was 8 years old. If I earned $5 from picking up leaves in the backyard or doing my chores around the house, I earned $5, 10% of that went to tithing. I was taught that as a child, my husband was taught that as a child, and we have seen so many blessings from it. We have never gone without food, we have never gone hungry, we have never struggled to pay our rent, because every single month, every single paycheck, we pay 10%. That sounds crazy.
No, shut up. This is utter BS. The point of 10% going towards the church is so that the church can literally always function. That's you keeping the church's lights on. And that's also you, hopefully, giving the church funds in order to help its members in times of needs.
Or you know, like a lot of pastors, they just use that money to build their multi-million-dollar house and buy the most expensive cars and send their kids to the most prestigious schools to live away from us peasants lights. But you know, anyone with a lot of money would do that, right? Maybe you are, in fact, keeping the pastor's lights on. Long story short, I'm saying all of this because I have never heard anyone say they're paying tithings because they expect something back in return or expect God to quote unquote bless them. And this is coming from someone who used to be religious. I was taught that you paid tithings in order to help people of the church and help the church give back to the community. Like, girl, the reason you have a job is because you have the qualifications for that job and you were able to pay for those qualifications. Like, saying God is blessing you is one thing, but saying it's because you're giving the church money is just completely delusional.
That's why you're giving that 10%. It's not mandatory that you give the 10%. Your life won't end if you don't give the 10%. It's so crazy that she draw the line at a $35 jacket, but she have a soda machine in her house.
And her husband also spent $1,500 on hunting materials.
You know how my husband spent $1,500 on hunting supplies? Well, yeah, because it didn't stop there, because there were several $100s afterwards to actually process the elk.
And they also spent $17 on a sandwich.
Well, I just got a $17 sandwich from Surf City Sandwich here in Arizona.
I literally just spent $51 on a single Popeyes chicken sandwich. You can check my receipt, you can check my bank statements. It says $51. Can you imagine spending $51 on a single sandwich?
Another thing I want to talk about is the well-being of their children and how rough she handles her child. Specifically, her 2-year-old child. As a matter of fact, it's not specifically a 2-year-old child. The way she handles both of her kids. In one of the videos, she's picking up her 2-year-old son by his arms and like plopping him down on his chair. And then when she's changing him too, she's like dragging him on the floor, like pulling his leg. And sometimes, like in some videos, she's just throwing things at him and it's like, what the hell?
I think I have something controversial to say, and it kind of pains me to say it. I was a full-time stay-at-home mom for 5 weeks while I was postpartum, and then I went back to work for a week. I'm still very part-time at work. Like, I'm working probably like 2 shifts a week as a nurse. It kind of pains me to say it, but I don't think I'm meant for the stay-at-home mom type of lifestyle. Maybe I'm just not used to it, but I feel like every single day I get beaten up by my toddler. I was literally telling my husband yesterday that I felt so defeated as a mom to learn. There are some days where that man won't get off his phone, or he thinks he's so much busier than me and can't take care of the kids. Like, I'm sorry, sir, you're at home. You're not working. You can take care of the kids just as much as I can. Men feel like if they're texting somebody or if they're on their phone, they can't take care of the kids at the same time. Like, hello, it's called multitasking. Every single woman and mother does it. Like, why can't a man do it, you know?
Again, she's complaining about her husband in this video, like, but y'all see how she grabbed up her child in that video? Y'all see how she grabbed up a child in that video?
Okay, so at what point is it acceptable to call into work? I'm a nurse and I've been flip-flopping day shift, night shift, like basically every other day is what it feels like. Then I also have a newborn at home, so it's like when I am at home, I don't sleep. It's when I work night shift, I go home and I don't sleep. And then when I work day shift, I'm up all night with the newborn, so I'm not getting a good night's rest. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like this non-stop cycle. Okay, but here's the thing. My motto my entire life is that calling in sick to work is weak. And I still believe that like 99% of the time. I don't believe in mental health days. I really don't. You're depressed, get your butt out of bed and go to work. Never have I ever called in sick to work because I'm tired, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I don't feel like going today. And when in actuality, I don't feel like going today. I am sick, I am depressed, I am whatever. If I call in sick to work, you better like call me, come to my house, make sure I'm okay, make sure I'm still living. Because if I call in sick to work, it's a big effing deal. Honestly, couldn't tell you the last time I ever called in sick to work. And I've worked with a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I'm taking a mental health day, or I haven't gone to work in a week because of my mental health. That is just something that
She straight up threw a cutting board and a knife at her son. And on top of her ignorant commentary, in a lot of her videos, she have her son just standing up on a chair. Like, that is so dangerous. Like, what the hell?
Speaking of having him stand up on the chair, why in the world did she did this? In this video, her son is clearly standing on the chair, and for some reason, she removes the chair from underneath him, and he falls. And when he falls, she's clearly annoyed that he fell. I'm like, what is actually going on? What is going on? And as you can imagine, she deleted the video. Hence why I didn't even see this video while I was doing research. And you know, just deleting the videos is already suspicious. Something is going on, y'all. Something is going on.
Something's not clicking up here. Just like her saying that whole thing, like, I don't understand why people call in sick to work. To me, calling in sick to work is weak. That should tell you the state of mind this girl is at. People came to find out that she don't change the babies after they piss. No. She only changed the babies when they do number 2.
Let's talk things I don't really care about as a mom. No, not to trigger people. Cutting things up in really tiny pieces. Am I gonna give him a bunch of like choking hazards? No. But like honestly, I'll give him a strawberry hole like this. I'm not changing my kid's diaper when they pee. I've never done that. Do you know how expensive diapers are? I have friends and people that I know that like, oh, they peed, we have to change their diaper. And I'm like, they peed? Literally, I will change his diaper if he poops. Or if it's like a very full diaper. Diapers are so freaking expensive. I'm not out here changing his diaper every time he pees. I would be going through 30 diapers a day.
I swear there is nothing behind those eyes. Her eyes are empty looking. It echoes the words that's coming out of her mouth. Cause what the hell you mean you'd be spending too much on diapers? Like, somebody break down to me, isn't that why you have children? Diapers weren't meant to be cheap. That's why people say if you broke, don't have kids. And you're not broke, so why aren't you changing your kids? Like, what the? I'm raging out. Most of the times, the kids are literally sitting in their own piss, risking diaper rash and buildup of bacteria because diapers are expensive. But you spend $51 on a Popeye sandwich. The husband also spent $1,500 on hunting gear, but it's okay, it was an investment.
I can't make this up.
Y'all, they have a soda machine in their kitchen. These would rather invest in a soda machine in their kitchen than to buy more diapers for the kids they choose to pop their legs open and have. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm getting so heated. I am getting so heated. There's also this weird thing that she does with the newborn again, with just propping up the bottle and leaving the bottle on the newborn.
And to that I said it's already the middle of the night, so who cares at this point, you know? And what I was really hoping and praying for is that with putting him to bed so late at like 2 o'clock in the morning, I was hoping that he wouldn't wake up until around like 5 when I would get up for the day. Yeah, no, I was out of my...
Everyone was super upset when they saw that because that is a huge health risk to the newborn. The baby can literally choke on its own vomit and the food that's in house because no one is there holding the bottle and controlling the bottle. Again, how is this a nurse doing this? How the hell is this a nurse doing this? Like, at what point do you say, hey, I doing some real stupidness right now? Y'all thought that was the worst of it? Tell me why. This lady dislikes her 2-year-old son so much that she puts a lock on the outside of his door so he doesn't come outside in the middle of the night and wake them up because she doesn't want to be bothered by whatever her 2-year-old son has to say in the middle of the night.
It's 6:30 in the morning and today's day 1 of waking up before my 2 kids. Here's like 45 minutes. I'm learning YouTube. It's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different thing with editing. So go check out my YouTube channel to give that some love. But of course, James woke up at 8 o'clock instead of 8:30. Yes, we do lock his door so he can't get out in the middle of the night. A lot of people freak out thinking it's like a hazard or something. But honestly, I feel like it's more of a hazard to have him have the ability to just leave his room and like wander the house or walk out the front door at any point in the night. Good morning and happy daylight savings to all you parents out there that did not get that extra hour of sleep today. I saw some parents saying that they were up at 4 a.m., which that would never, ever fly in my household. I'm sorry, but if my kid woke up at 4 a.m., you're gonna stay in your room. You're gonna stay in your bed. I don't care if you want to play in your bed. I don't care if you want to kick the bars, kick the door, whatever. We are not coming out of our room at 4 a.m. 4 a.m., I'm sorry, is the middle of the freaking night. James woke up this morning at 7:30 instead of 8:30, and I was freaking PO'd about that. Just in the span of like the last 2 months, he has gone from waking up at 10:30 in the morning to now 7:30. I mean, I know technically it's like now 7:30 is technically... It used to be 8:30, you know, like it's the same exact time. But just knowing that the clock says 7:30 and I'm out of my bed on a non-work day, yeah, no, that's not happening. So to those parents that are waking up with their kids at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, how? I just want to say, how do you function? I was up with my 6-week-old 3 times last night, which is 1 time more than what we usually do. And I wanted to rip my hair out when I woke up at 7:30 to James banging on his door trying to get out. Yes, we do lock his door at night so he can't get out. So him banging on the door is how he wakes us up in the morning. Crazy.
Some people don't deserve kids. He can be in there screaming, terrified from a nightmare. He can be in there sick. He can just want to be with his parents. Those innocent kids deserve the world. Instead, they are stuck with 2 greedy, selfish slobs who would rather feed themselves, have their kids watch them, spend money on the things they think are important instead of things that are important for their kids, and basically 2 parents who put their own needs over everybody else's needs. And you know, after everything has come to light and people are upset with her, she decides to post an explanation video.
So the fact that I even have to address this right now is kind of insane. Social media is just... it's a scary place. And I never understood people that much when they said they couldn't share their kids' faces online or they couldn't share much about their kids. I didn't really understand it, but it's crazy. If you were to know me in real life, this whole lazy husband thing, it's satire. My husband is the sweetest, nicest, kindest, most loving, most nurturing father in the entire world. He is playing on the ground with James like 90% of the day. If that man is not laughing, having fun, teasing him, playing with him, whatever it is, then I don't know, then something's wrong, because those two have the strongest bond, the strongest father-son bond that I know of anyone else. And it makes me really sad that social media has turned it into something, or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe that's, it makes me sad that I guess I've turned it into something like that. I don't know. In the video that you guys are all freaking out about, they're just playing. They're always playing. They're always playing where they scare each other. James is obsessed with dinosaurs and bears, and when they look away and they come back and they scare each other, and they play, like when they throw something, they'll play throw it, you know, when you like psych them out, you know, and they flinch and whatever. Like that's what they're always doing. They're always like hiding behind couches and jumping at each other and chasing each other around the house and up the stairs and down the stairs and tackling each other. They're always playing constantly, to the point where like if I'm trying to talk to my husband, I can't, because he's always playing with my son. Nothing's going on. From the moment that my husband wakes up in the morning to the second he goes to bed, he is only thinking about our children and our family and what's best for us. And that's never not on his mind. He is constantly thinking about his children, their futures, what it's like now, how to be the best father. You can't believe everything you see on social media. You just can't. I promise, and when I promise this, I'm serious. Nothing is going on. No, I don't really owe anyone an explanation. I could just be like everybody else, and when stuff like this happens, I could just keep quiet, and I thought about keeping quiet, just kind of letting it blow over. But I thought, I don't want that. I don't even want the thought of that out there. I don't want anyone to suspect anything, that even to be questioned whatsoever, that me or my husband, that we do not love our children, that we do not treat them with anything other than love. Like, it's crazy. There's nothing going on.
In response to that video, let me show y'all something. There's nothing going on.
So we're gonna see how it works today. Honestly, what I really want to do is just go over to BDubs.
There's nothing going on. They're just playing. There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. They're just playing. There's nothing going on. How about this controversial parenting video that she deleted off her social media?
I'm a mom to an 18-month-old, and I'm sorry, but a pat on the bum doesn't hurt them. It helps them on the long run. Let's get ready and talk controversial ways that I parent my kid. My son will grow up knowing that he's a boy and be raised as a boy, and he will know exactly what that entails. No co-sleeping of any kind. We'll like lay on the couch and cuddle, but when it comes to like actual sleeping, he sleeps in his crib, we sleep in our bed. Encourages independent sleeping, and now my son sleeps 14 hours at night. Along the lines of sleeping, we started sleep training at 4 months old, and honestly, I think we should have started it a little sooner.
Okay, pause, because clearly me and some people had the exact same thoughts, because what the hell she meant she sleep trained her child at 4 months old? Like, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be feeding them throughout the night. So basically, she possibly just allowed her child to cry and scream and be hungry just so she can get some extra hours of sleep. How did she sleep train at 4 months old? Infants wake up to eat every few hours in the first several months of life, so she is basically saying she starved her infant baby in the nighttime. How is a child sleeping for 14 hours?
When it comes to vaccines and giving medications to my kid, I do so much research, and I'm so hesitant with all of it. I am not afraid to tell my kid no, and I will tell him no several times a day. Every Sunday we go to church together, and he'll be required to go to church with us as long as he lives under our roof. My son will eat his vegetables, and he will not leave the table until all of his vegetables are gone. Yes, he is required to eat all of his vegetables, but honestly, we give him sugar pretty frequently. Last but not least, I'm a mom to an 18-month-old, and I'm sorry, but a pat on the bum doesn't hurt them. It helps them in the long run.
that's just playing. Spank on the bum is just playing. There's nothing going on though. So your child braced himself, covered his face, and made the most terrifying look after being handed a box in the grocery store because they were just playing. Like, did she try to gaslight us on the video? We don't see everything behind the scenes, but that should tell you it's probably worse than what's being seen. Since then, y'all, she is being investigated by CPS because, yes, multiple people called CPS on her.
Hannah, and I did find your home address, and I'm going to report you to CPS because
she is in Utah, and the Utah Police Department have confirmed that they have an open case against her. Since then, she has not posted anything. After this explanation video, people have been comparing her to Ruby Frankie, and she even responded to it.
The fact that I'm even being compared right now to Ruby Frankie is absolutely comical. It's hilarious, really. We live in a world nowadays where people will turn nothing into something. We live in a world where people are so desperate to become TikTok famous, they will post about anything in order to get views for themselves.
bruh.
This whole lazy husband thing, it's satire.
And then suddenly she just stopped posting. And at the time of recording, she haven't posted in like 5 days, I think.
Hannah haven't posted anything, but she did leave us with a little update. So since editing this video, I have been checking her account every single day because I have to gather more footage for this 1 hour long video. Felt like torture, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Yesterday when I clicked on her account, which will be 2 days from when I upload this video, I noticed that she added something to her bio. So amongst all of this drama, chaos, and allegations of abusing your child, Hannah made time to sign to a marketing agency. Yeah, so we should be expecting something from Hannah within the next few weeks because she's gonna have to post in order to get brand deals, right? I just found that very crazy that you're being accused of abusing your child, you're being accused of starving your child, you're being accused of all of these things, and also have a CPS case opened against you, yet you somehow still manage to look for more ways to make money. I think that just goes to show you how unserious this is and how this entire situation is being treated. But it's all just speculation. I don't know what she's doing behind the scenes, but one thing she did do was make sure she signed to an influencer marketing agency so she can still make money, because it's not that serious that you're being accused of abusing your child.
And there were people making rumors saying she went to jail when this girl was seen out in public bowling. Dear God, that was a wrong video. To summarize my thoughts on this video, whatever people think she doing,
I believe it's being done.
Okay, everything in this video is alleged. Nothing is concrete facts. That's for CPS to decide, that's for law enforcement to decide. And sometimes they end up making decisions that don't end up helping the kids. Some people are being mistreated in their household, but just because they look okay enough and safe enough and nourished enough, oh yeah, they're okay to stay with their parents who probably beating on them at night. And it's very unfortunate.
Now, as we come to the end of this video, I just want to say that there is very much a possibility that everything we have said and everything we thought was going on could have been wrong. And I have to provide that extra added layer of context when it comes to the internet. We could have all been wrong. We could have all taken certain things out of context. We could have all just reached too far because we saw one video, and she could have very well been right that her and her child and her husband play very rough, and all of this could have just been one big fat situation of rage bait. I would find it very disturbing that not only would she risk losing custody of her child for some clicks on the internet, but also paint her husband out to be like this disgusting deadbeat dad who does not help her out with the kids, when behind the scenes he's putting in just as much work as her. Like, she could very well be lying, y'all. She could be lying about her husband not helping out with the house, her husband not cleaning, even though I highly doubt she's lying because she has been making videos like that from 2022. If she's lying and if this is all rage bait, it will be very disturbing to know that she's willing to paint such a distorted picture of her family and put it out there on the internet, knowing that this will stick with you forever. But honestly, I would much rather believe what we're seeing at face value than to say it's all not true and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, because that do more harm than good. At this point, it's like pick your poison. We do have trauma from the Ruby Frankie situation, and people are extra more cautious when it comes to kids. Like, I hate this weird stigma of people thinking that abuse looks like one thing, like abuse like a child getting beaten 24/7. That is not the case. Someone can be getting mistreated at home and look like the perfect family on the outside. Like, people can have pictures of them smiling, pictures of them giving their children gifts, pictures of them going on extravagant dinners and doing all of these weird things, and abusing their kids behind closed doors. Someone don't have to post a video of them straight up beating on their child for it to be considered abuse.
And I also want to bring up the topic of spanking culture and how in many cultures spanking is just completely normalized. I grew up in a culture where spanking was completely normalized. Hello, look at the flag. And most people I know, literally almost all of my friends, we grew up getting spanked, okay? You can ask the typical person from the Caribbean like, hey, did your parents spank you growing up? I can guarantee you the answer would probably be yes. Not everybody, but most people grew up being spanked. There is a very fine line between spanking your child and straight up abuse. Like, I have been around kids who have been spanked, and never once did they flinch when you hand them something. Never once did I see them flinch when their parent is handing them something. There's a fine line between a child getting spanked to get discipline and a child getting spanked because a parent simply want to empty out their anger on the child and straight up cause harm to the child. And no, I do not support spanking because guess what? It gave me anxiety. We're not getting too much into it just to spread awareness that there are people out there who will mistreat their kid, and it is so normal to them that they will post it on the internet without even realizing that they are incriminating themselves. They're gonna get backlash for it, and when they get backlash, you're like, oh, it's the internet's fault, like making it seem like it's us who are the bad guys, when no, you're just treating your kid terribly. You don't deserve your kids. You do not. But anyways, y'all, that is it for the end of this video. Damn, this is gonna be a long one. That is it for this video, and I hope you guys take something from this. Like, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you disagree with what I said. Let me know if you agree with what I said. I don't mind. Okay, I don't mind if you disagree with me. Like, that's the point of a discussion. Sometimes people disagree with you. What is going on with my last vid? Like, you guys are blowing that video up. Like, what is going on? I'm amazed, y'all. And I think I'm at 10,000 subscribers right now. Like, what? No, like, actually, what? Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you guys so much for the support that you guys have been leaving on my channel. Like, I appreciate it so much. When I tell you guys, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. That was not on my bingo card to end 2024, okay? But thank you guys again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I really want to know your thoughts, so drop that comment down below. Like, I need to see what you think. Anyways, see you guys in the next video.
If you guys made it this far into the end of the video, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. I wish you all the love and peace and success for 2025. My sister asked for help with clearing out her inventory for her small business. She sells activewear, little accessories, and like she's just trying to get rid of all of that stuff for the new year. So if you're interested in getting activewear at a very reduced price, go ahead and click the link in my description and support my sister. No, like I'm genuinely impressed if you sat through an hour of me talking and you're still here. Like, but I appreciate any bit of support you might provide. Again, thank you guys so much, and I hope the holidays have treated you well.